Oh,
Oh,
bitch.
let me just move this camera so. Oh yeah, right. The old noodle. Fuck
John just jumped into starting the stream, did not check his setup first, just
Oh,
went
I did.
in
I did. I
with
just
the
made a.
confidence of his takes. That's
I
the
made
same
a.
energy,
I just made
just
a
straight
change.
in.
Just made a change. I finally have a setup again. Oh my god, it's been almost a year. It's actually been almost a year. I left my apartment for the last time 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks into May, a year ago.
Wow, I thought, didn't you have one at your new place? I thought you were set up in a room or so, or was that just you'd
I
made space
was,
in
but
the
it's like
living room?
I finally have. You know when you finally can put stuff away, so like everything has a place. You know when
Yes.
you know where the wires are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, there they are. They're right there in a pile. Good. Good.
My Chris, you've seen my tax system. Where are the receipts and a bunch of bags? Where do you have all those? I have
Buddy,
them.
I paid someone to do my taxes, and I'll never do my taxes again.
Of course not.
Oh my
Of course
God.
not.
Oh my God. It was
Anyone who does their taxes, unless you're a tax accountant, you're a sucker. Stop being a sucker. Like it's worth the money. Go into debt for it.
it
It's
was
the only indulgence. My mom has given me some really great, like great mom, but great like business advice a couple of times. And one of them was when I was 18, she was like, "You're getting an accountant and you're just doing your
mhm.
taxes every year." And I was like,
Yep.
"Do you know how much of an asshole you feel paying tax, like submitting taxes when I made 18 grand one year. I got yelled at an accountant for making no money one year. That was a great time.
Oh, 18 grand is more than I've made many years.
Oh my God. It was just like, I just remember being at the accountant looking at 18 grand and was just
Mm.
like, okay. And I was like, come on, man. Come,
Well,
like, I
see,
just,
you went with a real accountant. Like I was doing my dad's
oh, of
taxes
course.
through his accountant, and my
Oh
dad has
God.
like my dad's retired. He's got some money, and
Real accountant or
and he's got like a real accountant, and so his
okay,
real
good.
accountant was doing all the stuff, and I was just the in between because dad loses stuff sometimes, and so and then I mentioned I was like they got it done about a week and a half before the deadline, and I sent them a message being like, thank you so much for finishing early. I forgot to do my taxes because I was so stressed about my dad's, so now I have time to like just jack them out, and they didn't even offer to do that for me. They just like they'd met me and they were like, you can't afford us, man. There's no fucking way. So I just went with TurboTax because they gave me the look pre-tax, what your accountant gave after seeing what you'd earned.
Mm,
But TurboTax was great. The guy was very simple. He
great.
did misunderstand a lot of the things that I said, but I repeated them and we got there.
Oh yeah.
And as a result, I've got like a nice return that I would not have gotten myself.
My entire family in Canada is now with the same accountant. They're the best. I cannot
Nice.
remember their names. I talk to them once a year. It's the best. Here's the thing. Here's how you know you have good people. I don't want to talk to them.
Yeah.
Get out of here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If your accountant's interesting, guess what you have? A sociopathic accountant. So guess what's happening to you? You are being embezzled.
Yeah. Yeah, something's wrong. Yeah, even I mean, this TurboTax guy talked to me a fair amount, but to be fair, we had some crossed wires. But my dad's accountant was just like, "Hey, we need this one thing," and I was like, "My dad definitely lost that one thing," and they went, "That's cool, we'll get it," and they just found it somewhere else.
I've got to tell you, that is
Amazing.
my favorite thing accountants can do. I do not understand it. I don't know where they go. What do you picture? Here's what I picture. You know, like an old professorial door,
Mm.
aged wood with a metal handle, into just rows of like cards and paper, and just some fucking weirdo in there with stringy hair. We need the T4 from Betts. Come back in a week.
Oh, like a hall that's all the old library index cards kind of
Correct.
thing. Like that's all they have.
That's
The
right, sir.
Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah, but not even it's not even something as sexy as the Dewey Decibel System. It's one that's like, this one was figured out using a quantum computer. Oh, I wish I was dead. You know what I
I
mean?
was I pictured it. Who's the guy that put math into baseball? That guy. I figured
Philip
that was what he did after he fixed
Jonah Hill.
baseball.
It was Jonah Hill.
Yes, Jonah Hill.
I'm gonna say
Uh,
this. Moneyball
I,
might be my favorite white guys sat around talking movie I've ever seen.
it's great. I've watched
Nothing.
it like 4 times.
Oh my god, I've watched it way more. Anytime I'm on an airplane and it's on the movie selection, boom,
Yeah,
I'm watching Moneyball.
it's
What
so
the
watchable.
It's so nothing. Nothing of consequence, importance. There's no stakes in that movie.
It will for us or for any of that, but like for them, literally changed all professional sports that one
That's the
season.
best part about it.
It's so
Nothing
great.
happened.
Billions of dollars rests on the back of that movie where nothing matters.
It's the same way, like how we can't get an interesting the NFL covering up concussions, or an interesting. That's not fair. There's a couple of interesting baseball steroids ones that are screwballs. I think is one of them. That is,
Okay.
come on, Alex Rodriguez. Oh, it
Oh,
takes
were
me.
those documentaries?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's not the same though. That's not the same. You can't have Brad Pitt in a documentary.
No, but that's what I'm saying is I want a fucking that's right. I want a fucking good concussion movie, and I get Will Smith out of there.
Yeah, get Will Smith out of there playing his whatever. What was the one where he played a failed inventor with his son?
I don't know. We've been sleeping on that. This guy's a cunt. That's what I'm going to say about Will Smith. We've been sleeping on it. We're all awake. I slumber no longer. I have not had any tincture yet. I want to let you know, but I am going to have some now.
Nice.
The last time I did this,
yeah,
I got. I was pretty sure the guy just got real paranoid. You just lied. Can't get me in the bed. That's what I think.
You cracked up in that, and you said, "You know how," and then you can't get into bed.
No.
That's what I think. That's all I got. I didn't get the rest of it.
That's not good. That's not a good sign at all.
I think it's probably me. I've got this going on my laptop as well as this. So
come on. Why is that? Oh yeah. What's this bet? I'm not allowed to say that you have another window down here. So this is
no, it's fine. Yeah, so that's my laptop one because that's the one that I set it up on because I can't do it on my phone, and I miss having control over the gadgets and widgets.
It's fun, isn't it? Also,
so I thought I'd have like a double setup, like I'm in a van, like I'm the man in the van.
We're recording this early because I'm working a cruise next week because you don't know what we now have here at whatever the fuck this is eventually going to be called. I like that, but you know what I like even better? This. It's UTS fun. It's UTS.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's right. Get ready. And if you thought shit was annoying before, you don't even fucking know. Yeah, baby. You're listening to UT fucking ass. I'm the baby boomer. I'm here to go boom in your baby maker. Yeah. Who's out there wearing bras? Yeah. Bras go on. Boobies. I like those because I am straight. So yeah, we got a lot to
The only reference that most of our listeners will get of that is Crazy Ira and the douche from Parks and Rec.
I mean, that's fine. That's totally
Isn't that
fine. No,
isn't that wild though? They'll only understand a joke about a thing that we had to listen to every morning on the way to school.
Welcome to millennials, mate. We don't. Why the fuck do we know anything about Citizen Kane and Easy Rider? It's because the fucking Simpsons were written by a bunch of fucking baby boomers, and they were just like, "Bees." Oh. David Crosby is famous because he was like a 3-hit wonder, but just looked cool. So just anytime there was like, remember the '60s, they'd get the guy with the big mustache, and you'd be like, "Oh, I was a fuck up," and they were like, "Yeah, whatever, man, fucking peace of love," and he's like, "Yeah."
Well, honestly, when I think of him, it's not even the music. I mean, since you went on your Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young tour, I think of him in terms of music. But I always thought of him as the sperm donor for Melissa Etheridge's child.
I disagree.
That's my number one Crosby hit.
I always thought of him as a Simpsons character. And remember, I love you.
I mean, that makes me think. But then he just looks like Wade Boggs in that episode.
No, disagree completely. Because it's also one of the funniest jokes ever, especially when you have
those sideburns.
Oh my god, that's so good. What the hell? That baseball episode is one of the fucking best, by the way. The Simpsons in general is so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. Disney Plus membership.
Honestly, for the Muppets and the Simpsons alone, it's worth it.
I gotta tell you, I don't like that we're analyzing the relationship between Miss Piggy and Kermit.
Oh, that's decades old. It's just on the internet now. I remember being in a bar with my friends, and this was before any smartphones or anything, and we got into a very long debate about whether or not Kermit and Miss Piggy ever actually boned. And there was a number that you could text in the UK. It cost £1 to text.
Oh, fuck you.
And you could ask them any question, and there was just some guy at the other end of it, and he would always answer your question. He was just one man Google.
There
And he
is
gave us a very long answer. A
of course he
very
did.
long answer.
There is nothing more UK than right before the internet UK. Like
That's
like
great.
everything is not like everything is still so British. They haven't had enough globalization that like American things have seeped in. So
Mm,
it's still a time where it's like, why is this restaurant closed? Well, it's not lunchtime. Like
yeah.
the restaurant, they also need fucking to eat. You piece
Mhm.
of shit. Fuck you. Get here. Yeah, get here on time. And also, we hate you, so I wouldn't eat the food because we've done stuff to it. Like that. That
Mhm.
was the entire country in vibe and manner. I remember.
I
I got.
remember when cappuccinos were introduced. I
Oh
was
my
working at
god.
a bar when they came in, and
No one.
everyone was mad. Everyone.
Yeah, no one talks about this, but there was a time where literally the idea that you had a latte was a like you were worse than 100,000 Hitlers. That if you like that guy has frothy milk. How good did we have it when that was a problem? Like the same anger that people that TERFs have for the trans
Mm.
community was at one time directed towards lattes.
Yeah,
Which
I was.
direction are we going? Because we're going in a direction. I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't think it's good. Because if
It's not. It's
why
not.
should we fix
I was talking to a friend of ours the other day, and this just came out of my mouth, and then I mean, I'm sure it's a fairly common thought, but Jesus, it broke my heart when I said it, and I was like, I feel really bad for kids right now because they will literally never know the relative utopia that was pre 9/11 Western culture.
I think
The
they will.
absolute dream.
We are, I'm gonna say, one generation away from they're gonna be like, which one was that?
Yeah.
You don't understand. America, and I gotta say, hand it to them. They have already forgotten January 6th. It is not a thing. Like it is the attitude towards Joe Biden is so different than it was when I went to Australia. Like it's
Mm.
this country just moves the fuck on. They
Oh, but
that's
I just mean the sense of peace that we had,
I
the
agree.
sense of
I know
absolute
what you're saying.
calm, the things that we could be mad about that didn't affect anybody, that were just milk and coffees, and then followed by homophobic slurs
Oh my God.
that were commonplace.
I got really stoned. I got really stoned and went for
Yeah,
a big run and
that sounds right.
ended up writing some insane jokes in my phone. Some
Good,
insane ones.
good.
A Louis C.K. bit that is, I think, it attacks people with dementia. I'll tell you that much for free.
Wait, a bit about Louis or Louis-esque?
No, it's about the Louis situation.
Okay, yeah.
So there's a rumor going around, which I don't actually believe. 'Cause no
Mm.
one's this fucking stupid. That Louis back at it again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. He can't, there's no way, because he's a smart guy.
Like at this point,
There's no way.
like what the fuck? Anyway, I was laughing at the idea because I still have grandparents and like my great aunt Jean is still like she's 100 and she's still pop culturally aware because she kept up enough with the internet
Mm-hmm.
that she gets emails. She's aware of Louis C.K.
Okay.
Meaning there's someone in my life that remembers the Hindenburg exploding
Yeah.
and also was aware that Louis C.K. might be jacking off again. And then I put it in the idea of she says this revelation 6 years before it was revealed he was doing that. What did she know? I see. Get it?
Oh, the old pullback and reveal. Look at that.
The old
Hey,
UK. Hey, is someone writing comedy in London in 2004? Pull back and reveal
the
that
old pullback and reveal. The old Louis C.K. The old pullback and reveal. But what he's pulling back and revealing is his foreskin.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and then the other bit is insane. The other bit is
Right.
like insane. It is based on a true story, which is at a Christian camp in the years 2004. My
Mhm.
co-counselor at this camp was from Papua New Guinea. His name was Logan. And there was a dinner once a week for the counselors where the co-counselors switched clothes.
Yeah.
And we decided to also paint ourselves like each other, not realizing blackface. Hello, Canada.
I mean,
Oh,
I think that at that age, when it's an agreement between the two people, I think that can be put down to childish fun, and racism can be swept away. When it's not like you showed up and you're like, "Look, I'm you." If he was like, "I'm gonna paint you like me," that's its own
I'm
fun gray
appreciating
space.
I'm appreciating the benefit of the doubt. I
Yeah.
completely agree. And my white whale has always been to get a joke about this. To always
Yeah.
get a joke about this situation. And what I've worked out is and this is based on this is just the end of another story, but just put here, which is I don't know what's more embarrassing that I did that or that we came second place in the counselor lookalike contest because an Asian woman taped her eyes the other way, which is based off of the craziest Halloween costume I've ever seen in my entire life.
How do you even do that? What does that mean?
I was at a Halloween party in theater school, and one of the theater design majors, like who was from Southeast Asian origin,
Yeah.
made it so with like makeup and tape, made it look like she was not Asian for makeup, and then like, but it freaked everyone out, but it was like the best costume, but it literally like. That's really impressive. It's been 5 minutes. Take that, like, get fucking because it looked insane.
I just want to say to the listeners and viewers, I've been sick for the last few days. I've been in bed. I haven't really spoken to anyone in 4 days. And in the first 15 minutes, John has told me that he knew an Asian woman who taped her eyes the other way. And I'm not. I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to catch up just mentally. I didn't even know that was possible. Good for her.
Yeah,
that could be a whole TikTok subgenre.
Oh my god, I call it the reverse UK comedian who played a lot of junglers in the year 2013. That's what I call it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've seen a number of those dudes. Seen a number of those guys.
That entire genre. Are you having a beer or a water? Either way, I respect.
I'm having a beer because you're having a tincture, and this week's already fucked. So I bought a bunch of healthy foods yesterday because I felt good enough to go to the store, and I was like, cool, I'll get some vitamins in me. And I bought some snacks as well because I was feeling low. And I ate some healthy food, but then I put that in the fridge and I kept the snacks in my room. And so now all I've done is not left my room, and all I've eaten is cookies and Pringles all day. And a vitamin C tablet.
Hey.
And so I was like, fuck it. I don't normally drink on a work night. I'm going back tomorrow, but today's already fucked.
Cheers.
Cheers, big guy.
I don't actually know what this weed tincture does, quite frankly. I just know the last time. Jeepers creepers.
Makes you feel all safe and alone in the universe, or
the universe is definitely a part of it. It's a lot like let me put it this way. I've been listening to a lot of Rush recently, and I think the weed has everything to do with it. And I'm enjoying it, but we're entering an annoying phase for other people of my weed smoking odyssey.
Yeah.
Grateful Dead is one. You can put that in the background. Here's what no one has said at a house party. Oh, good. Someone put Rush on.
I love that you are becoming a 15-year-old pothead.
That's right.
I think that's really cool and really fun, and I can't wait to see how you decorate your girlfriend's house. And
it's just a giant doobie, bro.
You're going to get such a sick van. It's going to be so comfortable. I
don't need a sick van. I already have a sick truck, bro.
Yeah, but it's going to become a van. Are you going to get one of those like Fitbits on the back so you can sleep on it like a bed camper? Absolutely, and just cover it in blacklight posters for when your Rush vibes aren't welcome indoors?
First of all, Rush vibes are always welcome indoors. Second of all, it already has a tent, so I don't need that.
Of course. Yeah, good.
I'll have you know I attempted to call into the stream from that tent. It did not work though.
We're gonna have to get a Wi-Fi extender out there.
And then proceeded to hotbox the tent. Nothing better than hotboxing a tent, I'll tell you that much for free. Because it's just enough ventilation because it's a tent. You don't enter that point where you're like, well, the entire world is spinning and I'll be throwing up. You just sort of enter that point where you're like, I might be dying. So let's just let's really get some thinking done. Hey, all right. Ow! I'm enjoying it as well. But by the way, I've decided to find this charming.
The tent? No, or the 15-year-old high kid. That's great. It's such like the music taste is so quintessential. You're gonna, I mean, where do you go from Rush? No, there's gonna be dragons. There's
First of all,
you're
look at
gonna
me
get some
right now. First of
dragons.
all, I will have you know, my love of Rush has nothing to do with this, and my love of Rush has been going on for quite some time. We're talking
Like the recently threw me off when you said I've been listening to Rush recently. I was like, recently? Come on, big guy. But as in you've been listening to Rush forever.
I mean, yeah, I just have circled back to Rush,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? We're not saying that like, oh, who's this great band?
Yeah.
I'll have you know, I was into heavy metal in high school and I'm from Canada. I am well aware of the virgins who have somehow had sex, known as Rush. You want to know? Like,
You're the only person I know who would have fit into that movie I Love You Man.
I absolutely would have fit into that movie, I Love You Man, and also into
Mhm.
that movie Role Models, which is the better version of the movie I Love You Man.
Less Rush though.
I mean, that's true. I just prefer the Rush. Just watch the Rush documentaries. The Rush documentary about the Rush last tour is like the first 15 minutes of Up. Get ready to piss tears out of your eye pussies.
That's something that I would listen to Geddy Lee scream to a stadium full of people.
He never would though. He's too kind. That
He
man
is
is
kind.
that
He's
guy
such
has
a sweet boy.
oh my god, he's the most wholesome drunk man I've ever seen. Apparently Rush really fucking puts it away. Is like the main reputation. Them and Ronnie James Dio were just like the
Yeah.
most notorious. Like them. It's like them, Lemmy, and Ronnie James Dio's like who's drunk all the time, and it's like those guys. They're fucked up and they don't give a shit and they're fine.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, Dio, I knew, obviously, Metalhead or Motorhead, I knew. Rush is a surprise that they do have a beer. Never a good sign.
never a good sign.
Never a good sign.
Who's your
Beer's not
favorite?
good either. It's not good beer.
Never is. Who's your favorite? Drugged out or alcoholic musician, not reformed, has to be still active.
Currently, Danny
Still
Brown.
swinging. Pardon me?
Danny Brown. Currently, Danny Brown.
Oh, very nice. I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw. It's a curveball, but I love it. Billy Joel. Just he's the
Mm.
Cal Ripken Jr. like attendance record of alcoholism. Like, I'm sorry, I know it's not healthy. Game respects game, sir. Hats off.
Guy won't stop. He keeps showing up. No new songs. Doesn't care. 40 years, no new songs. Don't care. Uptown Girl, put it on. Let's go.
I'm Elton John. Billy, you're just insecure about writing new songs. You're brilliant. And he went, yeah, but I'm insecure and I'm done feeling insecure. Now I'm just going to cash in. And I got to tell you, his naked honesty, I'm like, Billy Joel, once again, another reason why I love the Piano Man.
What a great answer. What a fucking perfect answer. I wish, because Andre 3000 stuck in that same thing. That's why he hasn't released any music. He did a great interview with Rick Rubin talking about how he's like, my ego can't take the inevitable criticism that this album's going to come out no matter how good it is. And so I can't make anything. So I just walk around playing the fucking clarinet through Atlanta every day. And if he could just be like, I'm done. I'm just going to do an AT Aliens tour. And for some reason, cameos on every Frank Ocean album. He shows up for that, which is great. He always knocks that out of the park. But
it's someone else's project. Listen, in Melbourne this year, I emailed noted comedy
Andre
critic Steve
3000
Bennett and Andre 3000. Only Steve Bennett got back to me, and I just went, "Hey man, can you just catch me in Edinburgh if you're thinking of seeing me?" And it was the best thing I ever did because I could literally just fucking. That show just needed a couple of extra days to cook, and I just needed to not fucking worry about it. And it was just the revelation that you don't have to participate in some of that stuff. Yeah, it's a real fucking shoulder relaxer.
At all. I was talking to a comic in the UK the other day, and he was reminiscing about the 2021 Fringe, and he was talking about.
I think I already know who it is.
He was talking about how it was this beautiful utopian, like everyone's just doing it, and there's no industry, and everyone's having a wonderful time. And then word got out that everyone was doing it without them, and so all of a sudden all the industry just showed up like in the last third of the festival with their passes and their reviews and all this bullshit. And he was like, you're fucking ruining it. Let's see here. And that was, it was like there was nothing like it. He said it was an incredible time to just be absolutely free of that. I mean, that's why we all love MacFest, right? Is because it's just comics and it's fun and it's silly and you get to do your show and enjoy yourself.
You're totally correct. Although MacFest has a lot more industry than anyone ever talked about. Yeah. Peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, but because I know Henry, but like I know Henry, and
Fucking hated that. Go ahead, Chris.
I've talked to him. I've talked to him about that, and he's just like, yeah, listen, they can come, but if they try to get a fucking badge, if they call me and ask for something for free, if they try to pull any of that bullshit, we're gonna have words. And so it's nice that he's put out like, don't you can come, but don't do the thing.
Yeah, that's a fair
And
point.
that's all we care about. I'm fine with them being there as people, but like don't do the fucking thing.
I will tell you, one of the best shows I have ever done in my life was on MacFest. I did it
Mm,
for 3 people.
nice.
The 3 people were the room technician, Emma City, and her boyfriend. And literally, I don't know what was like a wild hair up my ass. Every once in a while, I did there was a combination of coffee and cigarettes and exhaustion where I was the most charming human being you've ever like. I don't know if you could bottle that elixir, you're a billionaire.
Oh, buddy.
Could never get the mixture right.
I did one at Mac that was one of the best shows I've ever done, and it was weirdly a full house. I still don't know why, but absolutely packed, and it was a pretty big room, and it was like 90 people, I think, and
I'm gonna say
a
this
bunch
right
of
now.
comics came, which was
I'm
really
gonna say
nice.
this right now.
Yeah.
If there was ever a festival to like you, it is MacFest. It is a place where people go just to watch a steam train go around in a circle. Yeah, they're gonna love the dissection of the concept of an empire by way of a dildo or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
We did it.
yeah, just a
But it
real.
was like, well, I remember it was like, it started off when I just brought out a bottle of wine because I was like, I can't afford pints here. So we're calling this a prop and no one's allowed to be mad at me. And I was like, who needs a drink? And this woman ran up to the front of the stage. And I was like, do you have a cup? She was like, no. So I was like, lean back. So she leaned back and I just poured a bunch of red wine into her mouth. And then the show just kept getting better from there. It was fucking awesome.
Only you. And this is would Coyote Ugly the beginning of a show with red wine? What a Tchaikovsky meets Limp Bizkit moment.
That's my niche, baby. That's where I live, right in that sweet spot.
If you were in Limp Bizkit, the song would be called. The song would go like this. One of those days where you get break stuff would be a metaphor. That song would be you got to break stuff metaphorically is what you would say. That's what you
Wait, they wouldn't have done the Faith cover. They would have covered like Tom Waits, The Piano Has Been Drinking.
Oh fuck yeah. No, I like that no one covers Tom Waits because they're like, he did it. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, there's no point. There's no point. He's perfect in everything.
You know what I like about Tom Waits is I know when I was depressed in my life because I can just look back and be like, when did I listen to whatever album The Earth Died Screaming is on? That album is one of the best albums anyone has ever done. But if you were like, oh my god, when the earth died screaming, it's like the most Tom. Everything sounds like the drums sound like he's playing a skull. It's fucking insane. But that album, if you enjoy it, you're sad. Like,
yeah, that sounds right. Oh, apparently that name comes from a 1964 British science fiction horror movie.
Okay, doesn't make it less terrifying.
No, it's just a bit of context for you, just a bit of fun trivia. What album is this from? The Earth Died Screaming. So yeah, mine was I was listening to Nighthawks at the Diner, his live album.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, Bone Machine. That album is fucking. That was when he started doing his like weird industrial. I described that on Gabriel Abulu's excellent 3-track podcast. I described that era as Tom Waits just singing as he walked through a junkyard, dragging an aluminum bat across everything he found.
Oh, because it's so good. It's literally like it's like he heard Sonic use it. It was like, what are these poppy fucking losers? And they were like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'll show you atonal. And they're like, no one asked you to do this. You know what? Like, man, music used to be fucking so stupid. How the fuck is Tom Waits famous?
He's a genius. That's how. He's brilliant. He wrote heartbreaking love songs and then very funny, ironic songs like Big in Japan.
Oh, one of the best. Well, that is the Big in Japan. All I think about is living in Montreal in fucking St. Henry
Mm.
Just absolute fucking just partying our faces off, starting comedy. Oh my god, it's just me and my friend Joanne dancing in our kitchen. That's what I think of when I hear that song, because we did it so often. Or when I blasted "Walk" so loudly, a guy who was living in a grow op told me to cool it.
For me, it was the moment I slipped out of punk rock. Big in Japan put me on its shoulders and carried me out of punk rock and into more interesting music.
I'm gonna have you know this: you never slip out of punk rock. To quote Steve Hughes before he went fully mental, still very much mental at the time. It's for life. So you just never were into it. That's the problem.
I mean, my CD collection would beg to differ,
Yes,
but
well,
so would my many mosh pit bruises. But yeah, it was track 19 on Punkorama 4, the Epitaph compilation, and it was a song I hated when I first heard it, and by the time after a couple months, it was the only song on there that I listened to, and after that, I graduated into a whole new thing because it was like, what the fuck is this?
Why the fuck was Big in Japan on an Epitaph?
I assume that they released Mule Variations, so they just chucked it in because honestly, no one is more punk rock than Tom Waits.
No one. Also,
no,
every time
maybe Iggy Pop, but honestly, I think Tom Waits more so, and that's why they made him his bitch in Coffee and Cigarettes.
They're two different types of pioneers. First of all, Iggy Pop is. Let's put on our everyone get up their berets. Iggy Pop, I would say, as a performer, is way more important than Tom Waits, but Tom Waits as an overall musician is way more important. Iggy Pop's contribution is, but hang on, as an artist and as a pioneer and like something he represents, has nothing to do with any of his songs and has everything to do with what he did on stage. And Tom Waits is like the opposite. Like he could have never performed. He could have. You never need.
Oh, you could have been studio. Yeah.
Oh my god. And by the way, and once you see him and meet him, you're like, this is even better. He is the. Yeah. I wish I looked like him when I wore a suit. That's what I want to look like when I wear like a hat with a blazer. I want to look like that, and I do not.
No, no one does. Only Buck 65 kind of does.
Nick Cave.
But
Nick
I
Cave
would no. Nick Cave wears his own thing. Nick Cave is doing his own. I've never wanted to look like Nick Cave in any situation. He's terrifying. I saw him once in real life, and he looked into my soul, and he didn't like what he saw.
I think that's just his face. You haven't spent enough time in Australia. Australia is much like Canada, has a lot more like intense looks and glares. Like because it's that weird British oppression without any of the British confidence. How fun are these fucks? It has that same thing, Canada has a disgruntled stare through you that you can't find anywhere except maybe the Netherlands.
Yeah, we do that. Yeah. I'm guilty of that.
Oh my god, certainly are.
Yeah.
I'm just sometimes I was just tired and a bunch of people thought I was an asshole because British people can't understand other emotions. The amount of people that were like, oh, you were so scary. And I was like, I just been on a bus for 9 hours, for fuck's sake.
I'm just sleepy, guys. I'm just sleepy.
Tired.
Yeah. But then, so with the Tom Waits thing, I'm not saying he's like the most important. I'm saying he's the most punk rock because to me, punk was always about being exactly who you are and fuck everything. And no one is more that than Tom Waits. Watch his career from like country balladeer almost.
I would agree with you.
In the early stuff, all through like the piano phases and then through his like weird industrial time. And you're like, what? This guy's just making whatever the fuck he wants to make. Anything. He doesn't give a shit about any of us. And it's really good. That's punk as hell.
What is also weird is, and makes me think he's a very shrewd businessman, is the fact that he's this successful, though. He's
so successful.
That's the thing.
He's the Daniel Kitson of music.
I am finding it fascinating. Our Daniel Kitson, for the first time in my 17 years of comedy, I have ever seen him have to advertise for shows. What a fascinating sea chain we are living in.
Interesting. Is it plays or is it stand-up?
Stand-up.
What?
That's right. I think it's expanding his tour base and he's going out a little bit more often than he used to because, as we all, we need cash. But if anyone's audience is going to be squeezed in these current economic times, it's the people that know who Daniel Kitson are. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, it would be like he's a pen and there's a typewriter, or he's a pen and there's an ink shortage. Like he's going to be affected. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's for anyone listening. If you're not aware of Daniel Kitson, and I can't imagine you're a fan if you know who Daniel Kitson is. But like, just in case,
fuck you.
He's one of the best comedians the UK's made. He's
Never seen
unbelievable. I've seen him a couple times, and he's blown my mind every time.
that. I hope you participate in the
Genuinely one of the best comedians I've ever seen. But never advertises any of his shows. Has just a killer email list, and all his shows sell out in a second. His fans are rabid and will never get enough of him. So the fact that he is advertising, he purposely made himself less famous in a story made apocryphal by Stuart Lee in whatever that book was, Stand-Up Comedian or something.
That's 18, 19 years ago now. That's it's a very fucking different world. You know what I mean? Like
His fans have kids now too.
That's the thing.
They were cool young folks before. Now they have kids and they have mortgages and stuff, so they can't be just showing up on a Tuesday to the Hob. Also, he lost the Hob, which was his hub.
Oh, the best.
And because I was like right in his neighborhood. So yeah.
Here's the craziest thing about London in terms of comedy clubs, in that we were there when they thought that they had done the downsizing, not realizing that we were like in the first wave. Do you know what I mean? Like now it is crazy how many less like no one talks about how many clubs Top Secret put out of business.
So I was talking to Glenn about this. Granted, this was like 8 months ago now.
When I asked him, or Wool.
Wool, sorry. And I just asked him, we were just talking, and I was like, how's the scene out there? He was like, oh, it's fine. And I was like, no, but really, how is it? He's like, it's fucking bad, man. And I assume it's only gotten worse since then. You've been out there semi-recently. I mean, you've been in Australia for a couple months now, but what was the scene on the ground? I mean, you showed up and did the Glory tour, but
that's the thing is I'm in a situation where I get to just sort of pick and choose the nice places, and I'm only there long enough to do them. Sorry, my mic stand keeps stopping, and I want to be able to keep talking because it keeps going like this. But the thing with it is you can see that there's just less gigs. You can see that there's more people around. There's more, like, it's just, there's less of a vibe because their economy is fucked. It has nothing to do with the comedy industry. In the UK, there's no one to blame but Brexit itself. I am reading a book on Nigel Farage, and with every page, you want to scream into, you want to go suck eggs in hell. It's just a nightmare of just like, and like, because it's keeping track of his media appearances, like the fact that his polling didn't actually reflect how much he was in the public eye in 2013 and 2014.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the 2010s. Can eat my fucking shorts, man.
They did set the table for the 2020s, and those have not been good.
I mean, memorable though. I will say this about the 2020s. Are you not entertained? We used to have to talk about the weather.
Well, soon it's all we'll talk about.
That's right, but it's not going to be the regular weather.
Nope.
Oh my God, the wildfires of Canada. Oh, jeepers creepers.
I was watching a thing the other day, and they were saying like, well, because El Nino basically doesn't exist anymore, El Nino will completely take over, which means many more hurricanes on the West Coast and rainier seasons in the drier areas, and fewer but exponentially larger hurricanes on the East Coast. And I was like, oh, cool.
Well, that sounds like a nightmare. I hope those don't ever occur at the same time. Stereo hurricanes. Yeah. Hurricanes of vaginas, yeah, because we're straight. Literally,
is that copyright free music, or are we going to get a strike on that?
That is copyright free music, as I understand it.
Yes.
Well, let's find out. That was literally like the Opie and Anthony show, which I will go to fucking bat for to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
Is amazing, but is also such that vibe in every way, and it's a nightmare.
Oh yeah. It was the best and therefore end of the shock jock era.
Oh my God, yeah. Like, yeah, let's make all these people famous, and then they blew up in such spectacular. Like, they are all. Who knew that Jim Norton would end up being the most ethical and normal one? Did you know how crazy that? Welcome to hell.
The best example of he is the anti Bill Cosby. I
completely agree.
Like that thing of like, the nicer you are on stage, the bigger piece of shit you are off stage, and the bigger the piece of shit you are on stage, the kinder, sweeter person you are off stage. Jim Norton, I don't know if I don't, because most of our fans are British. I don't know how much of Monster Rain you know.
Oh my God. That is the most intense story. Oh,
Holy shit, man. That
yeah,
is
Monster Rain.
fucking wild thing. Look up Jim Norton Monster Rain and just have your life changed a little bit.
Him
And then
explaining
just know
that
that
to
he is a very sweet man.
him explaining that to Lewis Black because wanted a joke, and then Lewis Black just went, "What?" And then he just said it in a sentence, and then Lewis Black just went, "You ever just get the answer to the question that you never knew how to ask?" It's the most like that show. Holy shit! When E-Rock drinks a bunch of tequila, oh my god! One of my favorite things to do in the entire world was to send clips to Chris's now ex-wife of the Opie and Anthony, because for some reason she and I, no one else liked it the way we liked it. You were all wrong.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even she would be listening to it and like cackling.
Oh
She'd
my
be
god!
cackling. And I would be like, I would have it in one ear while I was doing something else. And even then I would just be like, that's too fucked up for me. I can't I can't with this.
It is
This
insane.
is
Patrice O'Neill and Louis C.K. get into a conversation about race that you should have to go to
the
prison.
greatest.
It's
One of the
insane.
greatest moments.
Insane. It is
Unbelievable.
There are 10 points in it where you're like, okay, well, okay, I want to. How I'm in trouble, right? Like, because I feel like I am. You cannot in the world speak you like goodness gracious.
Unbelievably funny. Terrifyingly funny.
They go through a woman named Mimi Beardsley describing a sexual interaction with John F. Kennedy, that might be the hardest I've ever laughed at anything in my entire life. Because I literally, what I would do is I would BitTorrent the episode every day when I lived in London.
Wow.
When I was going in to do gigs.
Mm.
So I would like at like 6 o'clock start listening to it. Then I'd go in and do like fucking, I don't remember. I think it's under a month that I was in the UK living there and didn't do a show at night. I think it's under 30 days, which is, and we must stress this, unhealthy. That is not healthy at all. Yeah. But I would listen to that show like throughout the night. So like running around to shows or like because it's always, no matter what, it's London. It's going to take you an hour to get into the city. It says only 20 minutes on Google Maps. Yeah, all right. Believe that. You fucking idiot. Yeah, get ready for hell.
That Mimi Beardsley thing. Have you done this before?
Oh my god! And then the song is insane.
Fucking wildest things. But it's that. I mean, Ashley and I were talking about this last week, where the true like ability of comedy that is like that you absolutely disagree with, that makes you cry laughing, is like the pinnacle. It's such a remarkable thing to accomplish. And that's Opie and Anthony for me. Just top to bottom is like, I think I hate everything both of these guys have ever said. And holy fuck, am I laughing?
Oh, yeah. They're reprehensible people. Like, they're terrible.
Terrible people.
Both Opie and Anthony, I would not cross the street to piss on if they were on fire.
No, garbage people. Holy shit. Together, the show that they put on was unbelievable.
I'm going to say this: we have not started the show. This was all pre-show.
Oh yeah, no, this is great pre-show ramble though. Let's get it started.
Yeah, well, all right. Let's start her off here.
Oh no, the Canadians are coming.
Chris, John, and Irish Ashley combine to make the ultimate team, better than any wet dream. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream.
Really like it.
John's the CEO and Boomer. Ashley's the real leader. Chris brings the vibes and juices as our enjoyment increases. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream.
We did it. Welcome to the beginning of the show, Chris. Chris, how do you feel? What will we talk about today?
I don't know, John. What should we talk about?
On Wednesday. What an episode we have done. We didn't even address that Ashley's not here.
Ashley's not here. She's saving baby cubs from poachers. She's off in Africa. She's fighting them off. She didn't even bring a gun. She's just got her hands and she rubbed mud on her face.
Of course.
So they couldn't track her scent.
There was a real trope in the mid '90s that if you put a certain type of paint on you, then you'd really be much better in battle. Do you remember this? Braveheart
What?
was the best example of this.
What?
Braveheart put some paint on you, and then suddenly you're better in battle. There was a
Oh,
real
well,
genre
that's
of
what.
movie that did that, but Braveheart is the best example of the paint in the battle to rope.
Yeah, what I mean, it's the same thing that I mean, I think World Cup fans have the same philosophy, don't they? Where
Oh my
you
god.
paint your national colors on your face and go on to victory.
I am
Uh,
aware. I believe that my goodly mother listens to this fine program, and my mom does not like that I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the royal family. At this point, I'm just a bit perturbed with the royal family. That
mm,
said, I am back on board with all football fans because of the "you can stick your coronation up your arse" chants that are all over any
that's pretty
type of
great.
social media because of
And those
Celtic
are the
fans.
people that
Great
should
stuff.
love it, except for the Scottish ones, obviously. But
Oh, guys,
you
can
would
I just
think
say,
working class Britain, the football chanters would be number one coronation line.
I
Stick
also
it up
have
your ass. You guys have
I
lost it. It's a different country.
just got to tell you, I understand. I'm open to have a big old discussion about the monarchy, but here's my main thing. You have to enjoy those chants. That's what I'm
The
trying to
best.
say.
The best. So
It's
fun.
also, can I just say, no one can do a more complicated job with a chant more than a British person. Wales, England, Scotland, you guys absolutely, like, you could not get stick your coronation up your arse going at a hockey game. Absolutely not. We
No.
have ours is just clapping.
Ours are all ba-da-da-da, clap, 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 and you just insert syllables.
Yeah,
That's
or the
every chant.
person's
Or
name.
ba, ba, ba,
Yeah,
ba, ba, ba. That's all we have. Those are the two tempos. Those are the
oh my
templates. You
god.
fill them in like a Mad Lib. There's nothing else. We don't have songs. We don't adapt to top 40 hits and replace the names with the personal details of a player who's been outed on Instagram as being a racist.
Did this
There's
happen? I think it sounded like it happened a lot. Oh god.
Yeah, they'll do that. They just like all of a sudden, like one, I think it was like the one I'm thinking of, I think was when Jamie Vardy's wife found something out. I don't know the details of it. Someone's screaming at our fucking podcast. Ashley would know exactly what I'm talking about.
Not
But
me.
there was some sort of Instagram detective thing. One of the wives found out something about one of the other wives and husbands, and then there was a chant. I swear to God, the next day, it was a whole song. I
Oh,
don't know how they organize it. I don't know how they
so
do
good.
it. It's.
Who doesn't like a bit of that, huh?
I feel like Jamie Vardy might be a character
Yeah.
in Ted Lasso, but it was one. They'll know who I'm talking about.
And if you don't, well, I mean, I hope they don't. I hope that they're
They
all,
will. It was a big thing. It was. I think it was Rebecca Vardy. I think she was the one who figured it out.
that sounds like a name that I've heard people use. I lived in England too long. At a certain point, I was just like, I'm not learning all of their celebrities. So I just was like,
no.
yeah, sure. Whatever.
I stopped at Peter Andre, the last one worth knowing.
Yep. I don't know what he did though. What did Peter?
He
Andre
was a
do?
singer, and then he was married to what's her face? Price, Katie Price.
Right.
And by all accounts, he is a sweet idiot. Just such a nice, dumb boy. Everyone's just like, not a bad. I know I have friends that have served him. I have friends that work at hotels that he stayed at. And every single person down to the end is like, very polite, so painfully dumb. You really like him.
I gotta say, you know what I do enjoy, and I might do stand up about this, so everyone shut the fuck up if you hear me do stand up about it later. Is because of shame, because of the internet, we have shamed rich people into either they're just now evil or philanthropic, as opposed to we used to get the third excellent, just a fucking flaming pile of interesting shit. Like,
Yep.
you understand that rich people didn't used to buy Twitter. Rich people used to buy a bunch of Lamborghinis and crash them. That, like, do you understand? We used to hear about nightclubs. When the fuck is the last time you've heard about someone going to a nightclub?
Oh, Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton is the Opie and Anthony of that.
Absolutely correct. Everything should be the Opie and Anthony of that, but the best worst version of it. And
That's
Paris
what
Hilton
I'm
is
saying.
exactly
Yep.
correct. Oh my god. Oh
Were
my
you
god. There's
jacking off under the table?
No, I was shaking a protein shake.
All right. That looked like a two-hander.
I just off of it. My protein.
I think you came in the shake. Anyways, here's an old lady talking about sex. We love you. Bye.
Hey, we'll be wearing the same clothes, though. Don't read into that.
Bye.
That's all.
That took you too long.
Penis into her vagina. That's all.
Chris, too long and he's embarrassed.
I thought you were doing a bit about protein.
That's all.
I want to let you finish your bit.
That's called
Oh, no, I thought you
sexual
were
intercourse.
just delayed you. All right, well,
Some people call it having
I want a
sex.
5-minute break and then we'll start the new
So
episode.
the man passes
See you on
the
Wednesday,
sperm to the
everybody.
woman.